I'm Elisa Parker. We're broadcasting from the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, 17th year in existence. We're based in Nevada City, California, and Grass Valley, California. Thousands of everyday environmental action heroes come to our community. I should also mention that we have over 500 volunteers that help make this happen through the organization called Circle, South Yuba River Citizens League. With me here, I have another everyday extraordinary hero. It's Annie Sullivan Show, and she came here from Hawaii, saving Ōhi'a, Hawaii's sacred tree. And, you know, Annie, first, welcome to Wild and Scenic.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Incredible experience.
Yeah.
Great weekend.
From Hawaii. Where do you live in Hawaii?
I live on the Big Island in a town called Waimea.
Yeah. All right. And one of the things that struck me in this film, and I love about Wild and Scenic, it's the stories that we don't often hear about, especially around certain animal species or plant species. And the Ōhi'a tree, it's actually an integral part to the ecosystem in Hawaii, and yet it's been suffering. So tell us a little bit about that and the premise of your film.
Yeah, so Ōhi'a is actually the pioneer species of Hawaii. So if you've been to Hawaii, you're on a big volcanic rock in the middle of the ocean. And when you start to see the forests and how the whole ecosystem works, it's pretty incredible. You're out in the middle of the Pacific, the most remote island chain in the world. And there's so much life, and it's such a majestic place. And that's all because of Ōhi'a. It breaks up the lava and starts the whole process of a forest. And it creates, what makes us all love Hawaii. So Ōhi'a is the pioneer species and also the keystone species of the forest. So many plants and animals and insects depend on it. We depend on it as humans for our source of water. And so, yeah, it's being threatened, and it's a huge, scary issue that we're facing right now in Hawaii. And we're excited to be able to get the word out and help people understand what's going on, and allow the scientists some more time and support to figure out how to handle the issue.
Tell us how it's being threatened and what's happening to the trees.
So there's an invasive fungal disease that's come in. It's been imported into Hawaii. They're still trying to figure out how it came in and what brought it in. But just the way it interacted with Ōhi'a has, created this epidemic. And it's a fungal disease. There's two different diseases that they're researching separately so they can manage them separately. And it came in and it causes drought stress in the trees, and it kills them rapidly. So these trees that are hundreds of years old die within 6 weeks. And the rate of death is huge as well. There's been about 10% per year of our Ōhi'a trees. So within 10 years, we could lose all of our Ōhi'a, which is obviously devastating. So it's a fungal disease, which is obviously really tough to track down and get ahead of, but that's what we're faced with.
What is causing the rapid spread of this fungi?
There's a few different ways that it is spread. The boring beetles push out the dust, and that flies around, and locally it's spread. They're trying to test and prove if it gets spread long distances through the wind, and then also human vectored. So if we go hiking in forests that are affected, and then we go to another island or another forest, and it's on our shoes or our backpack that we put down, that's another way that it can spread. So, helping visitors and residents alike understand what they can do to help protect the forest when they're there, and understand how to clean off their boots in an effective way is something we can all do to help out.
Annie, what have you learned? Like, why now? Why has this become such a devastating disease to these trees recently? Like, why are we just seeing this now?
Yeah, well, it's new. It was discovered in 2014, and it's a brand new disease to science. So they're starting from scratch, trying to figure out, what to do. So it is fairly new. It's been a few years of research. They've made great progress and come up with some great management techniques, but there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. So it's an ongoing issue. It's going to continue to evolve, but awareness is obviously the first step in having everyone come together and come up with a solution.
And you feature different individuals who are looking at solutions around this. What are some of the solutions that they're discovering right now?
Well, like I said, cleaning your boots and being aware as a visitor to Hawaii. They also recently introduced some detector dogs, so dogs can actually sniff out the disease. So that's something that could help at the ports to understand what is bringing the disease in, because there was recently a new introduction on Kauai. And so instead of it just spreading around locally or by humans, it's actually still coming into Hawaii, and we don't know what's bringing it in. So, figuring out what's bringing it in, stopping that will help. and also the management techniques of what to do when trees are affected, which is different for every case. So there's a lot of really helpful foresters that help case by case help to manage the disease.
So you live in Hawaii. This is all happening in your own backyard. You've done other films. Or have you done other films around this, or was this your first one?
No, this is my first ever film.
Annie, it's a beautiful film.
Thank
the
you.
cinema photography is amazing. So what is it then that what have you been doing before, and what was it that inspired you to create this film in the first place then?
Well, I traditionally have been doing video marketing, so short form films for companies to get their brand message out there. So it was documentary style, but when I moved to Hawaii and realized that there was greater causes that I could use my skill set towards, I got really excited. And this disease, the communication here was obviously a big challenge for the scientists. They told us they're not good at communicating, so they needed someone to come in and help get this message out. And it's changed my life. It's changed the course of my career for sure. I hope to be able to do a lot more environmental films and keep using my skill set and my craft for this type of work.
Right. It's a really important film. I mean, obviously for us here on the mainland, but for those who are living in Hawaii, to have awareness around this, to be educated around it, and to know there are individuals who are working and trying to find a solution, and also just aware how every single one of us can be part of the solution. What is the wildest thing that's happened to you in making a difference? We're here at Wild and Scenic, so things get a little wild. But
I know. It's been overwhelming being here. This is like a crazy weekend, just emotional and inspiring. But making this film was an adventure. I mean, we were out there in very extreme nature, hiking through lava fields, hiking down into valleys, in rainforest, getting rained on with, all our gear. That whole experience was really wild. Diving with dolphins and, getting all the shots to really bring Hawaii to life and remind people why we love it and why we should protect it.
It's awesome. You've gotten to explore Hawaii in a whole other way that a lot of people who even live there don't get to.
No, we felt very lucky. We got to go to a lot of amazing places. We got to talk to a lot of amazing people. One of the great things about working on this project is everyone wants to help with the cause. So you could call anyone and they'd give you an interview or give you access to an area of the island that you traditionally can't get to. So just to see everyone come together and rally around this issue is a really beautiful thing. So it was great to
good community-based project.
Yeah, it instills hope for sure.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Annie, for being here. It's a pleasure to have you at Wild and Scenic. The film is Saving Ōhi'a, Hawaii's Sacred Tree. I highly encourage you to see this film. Whether or not you've been to Hawaii, it's important just to understand how people are coming together in a community to solve what could be a really dire issue in Hawaii, and seeing what we can learn and how this might impact our other communities as well. So thanks so much, Annie. It's really important work. I'm Elisa Parker. It's the Wild and Scenic Film Fest. We'll be back with more stories like these.